Get home from school, turn on my TV. Who are these friends staring right back at me? Now that we're older, why don't you come over and go back in time with me? 90s babies nostalgia.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
And I'm Jessica.
And this is 90s Babies Nostalgia, where a couple of 90s babies rewatch and sometimes watch for the first time tween entertainment from the early 2000s.
Just to be clear, we are not sponsored by or affiliated with any of the shows, channels, celebrities, brands that we talk about. We just really, really love talking about TV. And today we're talking about
The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, of course. And this is our final wrap-up. And if you have been listening along, you know that I personally am so invested in finishing this series. So excited for this. If you haven't listened already, we have done countless episodes on this show.
Yeah.
We did 2 on season 3. We did like 5 on season 2, 2 or 3 on season 1. There's a playlist. There's a card on the YouTube video if you're watching this. If you're listening to it, click on our name and you'll be taken to a menu. You know how podcasts work. We have covered all of it for you. But today we are just going to wrap up the series, our final thoughts, our rankings against the other shows that we've been listening to. And Jess is going to see how much of this fever dream show I have retained, as well as give us a little schooling on the crimes against hospitality.
Yeah, which the show has committed many.
But before we get into all of that, Jess, what have you been enjoying lately?
Okay, I was going to do something that I've actually been enjoying, but I have more just like a story, a fun thing. Last night I went to a concert, which is fun, but I didn't know who the openers were prior to going. And one of the openers was Phantom Planet. And I had a weird nostalgia moment because they sing California, which is a really well-known song, but it's the OC theme song. And when it came out, I was like, oh my God. Like, I got taken back to the early aughts very quick. And I thought it was really funny because I didn't know that that's who they were. They were great. They were a blast. Would go see them again. But it was a really funny moment where I was like, whoa, these are the people that sing the OC theme song?
And I'm sure that they have to sing it in every set that they do. Every single time. Like, it's probably contractual at this point.
Yeah. I honestly was impressed that they didn't close out with it. Like, they probably played it, like, I don't know, third to last or something. You would think that, you know, everyone would want that as a closing song. But it was really good. But it was just one of those funny moments. The same thing when, like, Bowling for Soup sung the Phineas and Ferb theme song. And I was like, oh my God, that's just childhood.
I always forget they did the Phineas and Ferb song. I'm glad you had that fun surprise.
What have you been into?
Okay, I had like a million different things I could recommend that are new, but truly, really and truly, I am back to being a Smosh Gremlin in full form. Not that I ever fully stopped, but you know, I took that detour into being obsessed with Love Island for a while, and I will be again soon because it comes back in June.
Okay.
But for now, I'm like, when I'm home, the vast majority of the time, not only am I watching Smosh videos, but since I've seen so many of them, I'm now watching Smosh compilation videos.
Oh, we've progressed.
Yeah. But anyway, I of all of their stuff, what I would recommend is their D&D podcast called Sword AF. The first season they did last fall, summer, in video form, but it's also on podcast form. And then the second season is just now coming out. They've put 2 episodes out, and I have never played D&D. I'm not familiar with it, but it's still so fun because it's really a game about improv, and these are all literally improv actors. So they're just like very silly, goofy guys while also playing D&D, and it's very enjoyable. Plus the audio team like really did a lot of sound work to make it more of an immersive experience, and they did listen to fans who were upset it was only audio and put up visualizer videos for season 2 so that you can at least like clearly see who's talking if you need that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. I remember you sent it to me and you're like, oh, kind of annoyed they're taking away the video format. But that's cool that they added that.
Yeah, honestly, I think most people were just annoyed because they want to watch the people play. And I think that as actors, they are people who are more physical than vocal. But also, there wasn't a thing about accessibility. So,
Yeah. With that, we're gonna get into wrapping up Sweet Life like we promised. But in our last episode, Amanda gave me homework, which was to rewatch season 1, episode 25, Commercial Breaks, which is the Tipton commercial episode that was in the season 3 montage episode, as well as I just think like when people our age think Sweet Life, like this is the episode that pops into their mind. Like it was on all of the reruns, all of the Disney marathons. That episode was always included, and Amanda didn't include it in our season 1 episode, so we're gonna discuss it shortly now.
it was also Emmy nominated.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but yes. Summary, we're not going to go into it because it's very simple. The Boston Tempted is picked to be the backdrop for the new commercial, and all the employees are asked to audition. And then we see the commercial come to light and happen and all the shenanigans that ensue.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's it. That's the plot. Which is why Amanda didn't include it. And when I was watching it, I was like, okay, I understand. At first, I was like, that's stupid. Like, this one is so iconic. Why did you not make us watch it? But now I get it. I stand by your judgment.
Thank you. Yeah, well, that was why I assigned it as homework, because you kept calling me out for not assigning it. And like, literally, there's no plot. Like, yeah, it's the commercial episode, but it's just a commercial.
Yeah, there is no plot. I did take a few notes as well as a couple quotes that I just wanted to call out. The guy who is running the commercial, I feel like he's the director, but also he's the caster, like casting director and the actual director. He wore many hats.
Mm-hmm.
He calls out Carrie and says that he could recognize her anywhere based on her legs because they went on a date once. And that was very icky and creepy, and I hated it.
Okay, yeah.
London continually throughout this episode forgets her own last name multiple times.
I do recall that, which is not something that ever happens any other time.
No, and I thought it was interesting why I wanted to note this is we have kind of said this, that like with these like dumb side characters, normally in season 1 there is personality, and then as the seasons continue the character just becomes dumb, and you see this happen with London. But watching this episode, I'm like, this is in season 1. There is no excuse for this level of dumb.
Yeah, no, it was just a joke for the plot, for the fact that it's the Tipton commercial, of course.
Yeah. Also, the whole time they're filming this commercial, Mr. Tipton is like watching through a little webcam that's set up, and like he has better things to do. He's not doing that. Like there's no way he is doing that and spending his time watching all these people film. Like that is crazy.
I don't know, he could be a micromanager about the image of his brand. It also, to me, felt like maybe like this was one of their first commercials, or like they haven't had a new one in a long time.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
It's also referenced in that final episode when they showed the clip where Carrie is like, they wouldn't have such a good commercial or the brand new commercial if it weren't for me, which made me think like, was there supposedly a lot of success after this?
Well, they imply in the commercial, like right after it premieres, they're like, we have tons of bookings coming in, like families are so excited to stay at the hotel, and I'm like, I don't think it would be that immediate.
No. Also, have you ever seen a hotel commercial like that?
No, they're not. No,
they're not singing.
No.
They're talking about like accommodations and like how beautiful it is and how family friendly it is or fun. They're not singing about how great the hotel is.
Yeah, no, it's very weird. That is not how it would happen. Also, like, if you're promoting a brand, which this episode is, it's promoting the Tipton brand. It's weird that the only hotel that's featured is the Boston Tipton, where normally it's like individual hotels may have their like commercials or little, YouTube videos that they use to promote their hotel, but then brand wide videos would show multiple properties to reel you in. So I'm like, all of it just doesn't make sense. My quotes: London goes, I'm going to sing and dance at the same time. And it was cute. And that's when we get her Because Bling Is My Favorite Thing song, which I feel like that's another iconic moment. And then Zack at one point says, we're pushing 13 and I don't have a lot of cute left in me. And I liked it.
Yeah, that is a good line.
It's a good line. That's all we have there.
I'm glad that you understand why I didn't assign it and that you stand with me.
I stand by your decision. I probably will give you crap in the future for episodes you pick, but just know that you're normally right.
I know. Okay, do you want to get into where are they now?
Yeah, we'll start out with the twins. So Dylan Sprouse, both the twins went on to obviously be in The Sweet Life on Deck as well as the Sweet Life movie. They both also guest starred in other Disney shows, like an episode or two in like Pair of Kings and So Random. And then they also both went on to NYU and created their own degrees, which do you know what those degrees were?
I'm pretty sure one was related to video game design and the other one was like art and photography.
Oh, cool.
But they both studied at the Tisch School of like independent studies where you can create your own degree.
Cool. Which I'm guessing this occurred, they both took a break roughly from like 2011, 2012 through 2017-ish. So I'm guessing that's when that happened. Dylan Sprouse has continued on. He's just an active actor. Like, he is in a few TV series. He's in quite a few music videos and movies. I personally, none of them like stood out to me as like, oh, I've seen this. Besides for, he was in one of the After films.
The second one, I think.
Yeah, After We Collided in 2019. But other than that, none of the things stood out to me.
Yes. And I did know because you noted, did you know he was in one of the After movies? I did know because one of my previous roommates was obsessed with those movies and made me watch the first two. And then we stopped being friends for other reasons. Imagine I stopped being her friend because she made me watch the After movies. But I did pay $3 to rent the second After movie on YouTube. So I did know that Dylan Sprouse was in it.
Oh my God. Why'd you pay? Why didn't you watch it on Netflix? What's happening?
It wasn't on Netflix at the time because it was new. It had like just come out.
You know that I will go and watch those films. I know they're bad films. Don't give me crap, people. They're terrible. I understand, but I like them.
Wait, so you've seen it, but you didn't know he was in it?
No, I didn't recognize. Like, just in process in my brain. Nope. But I've seen it.
Very different people. I'll recognize a face of someone who has 2 lines in an episode.
No.
And I will have to pause and look them up. And it'll be hard because they had a very small role in this one show in 2006. And then I'll look at their IMDb and I'll have like only seen one other thing that they're in. And I'll be like, that's the one.
Yeah. No, this show has, like, us doing this podcast has made me more aware of looking out and paying attention to like guest stars and features and things like that. But like, no, someone completely famous could be in a show, and unless they are playing themselves, I would have no idea. Like, that's I would crazy. Just be oblivious.
I'm not like this because of the podcast. I have this podcast because I'm like this. I grew up like this. Like, as a kid, before I had the internet, it would drive me nuts because I would recognize so many people in like shows, especially because my parents watched a lot of like Law and Order. So there's so many guest stars in that.
Yeah, this is what makes me think that a part of me is like, I would love for you to just like live in LA for a few months and we could go out places, because I never recognize people. Like, Tyler, the Creator, is up in the coffee shop that's connected to my work building literally like 3 times a week. And I never knew until someone was like, that's Tyler, the Creator. I was like, nope, had no idea, would have never known. Like, I'm sure there's so many times that there's just like celebrities in my vicinity and I just am like blissfully unaware.
Part of me wants to live in LA, but part of me thinks that I shouldn't. For that reason, because I don't want to be creepy in real life.
That's fair.
There's a boundary I want to keep. and I know what I'm capable of, and I don't think I should always fulfill my potential.
That's fair. I like that. It's a good self-awareness there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Cole Sprouse, continuing. He has gone on to being like 5 Feet Apart, Moonshot, and then obviously Riverdale. And then we have Kim Rhodes, who played Carrie. What?
I forgot to also say Dylan Sprouse has a very hot wife, Barbara Palvin, Victoria's Secret model. Cole Sprouse, known as being a bit of a douchebag now, but don't cite me on that because I'm not fact-checking it. It's just the TikTok rumors.
Oh.
I think that Riverdale money went to his head, maybe.
I mean, he's been in like 138 episodes, so I could see how that would be likely.
Well,
It's
yeah,
probably
he was a fan
check.
favorite of the main characters.
Yeah, I've never watched it.
I never have either, but I have watched 6 to 9 hours of people on YouTube dissecting the plot lines of it.
Okay.
But I've never seen an episode.
Okay. Then we have Kim Rhodes. She was not in Sweet Life on Deck, but she did go on to star in 4 episodes of that. And then she is just a guest star and a regular in many TV series, but she's been in Criminal Minds, Supernatural, and CIS, Switched at Birth, a bunch of stuff.
Miss Ashley Tisdale, Maddie Fitzpatrick, of course, was in all 3 High School Musicals as Sharpay, plus her own Sharpay straight-to-DVD spin-off movie. She was in Hellcats, which was, I think, an underrated CW show, along with Ali Machaca from Ali and AJ, that they filmed at my university a year or 2 before I went there. And I was sad that it was canceled because then I couldn't run into them on campus. Obviously, also, she was the voice of Candace on Phineas and Ferb, which is such an iconic role. Mom! Phineas and Ferb! She was apparently in a Scary Movie 5. I didn't know that. She had her own music career. He Said, She Said goes way too hard for 2007. We weren't ready. We
No.
didn't deserve her.
No, we did not deserve her. And like many, I didn't go on to list all these, but many of her songs, so she had Headstrong in 2007, the album Guilty Pleasure in 2009, and then her most recent album was released in 2019 called Symptoms. But off of Headstrong and Guilty Pleasure, many singles landed in the Billboard Top 100, and even in Australia, randomly, a few songs landed in the top 10 of their Hot 100. So like her music did like resonate with people too.
I didn't even know she had more than one album.
Oh, if you listen to Guilty Pleasures, you would know some of the songs off of it. But I would say Headstrong is definitely more when we were like peak Disney.
Also because they played songs like He Said, She Said on Disney Channel, because this was the time where Disney Channel would play truncated versions of music videos by Hollywood Records artists.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sneaker Night was playing.
Yeah. Also, for all my pop punk babies out there, she played the love interest in the Boys Like Girls Love Drunk video, which I feel like was a big thing. She also dated Martin Johnson of Boys Like Girls for a while, and it like made a bunch of headlines. And so in my brain, I forgot about her music career, and I did remember about all the Boys Like Girls stuff.
Your selective memory is so funny.
Yeah, because that's what's important to me.
I wrote that her acoustic series slaps because like 7 years ago, she was doing acoustic videos on YouTube with various former co-stars, including the guy that played Ryan, Lucas Grabeel, and also Vanessa Hudgens, and they're really good. And then French, or Frenchie, I don't know how it's pronounced, is her like beauty line. Jess had no idea this existed. I was texting her about it like an hour ago. It's existed for a couple of years. It's her own line of aromatherapy based lotions, bath bombs.
I swear to you, I've never seen it.
It's literally always on the front and center table near the bath products at Target. It's a Target exclusive line. I've used the lotion a couple times. It's fine.
Yeah, some of the products looked cool, but I was like, I don't recognize this label. I don't recognize this branding. Then we got Miss Brenda Song, in London,
Queen of
Tipton.
Disney Channel.
Yeah. She did everything. I'll shout out a few things, but guys, she booked and busy. She was on The Sweet Life on Deck on most episodes. She's in Scandal, New Girl, Pure Genius, Station 19, The Social Network, Dollface, The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder. She's done a lot.
Hey. You skipped one of the ones that I added.
Oh, Amphibia. Because that was voice acting, right?
Yeah, so was The Proud Family, Louder and Prouder.
Whoa.
But Amphibia, she was the lead of a 3-year-long Disney Channel animated series.
I didn't know that. It looks kind of creepy. Have you looked?
She voiced the lead character for Amphibia. I think The Social Network was her first main out of Disney breakout. Also, obviously, she's our DCOM queen. She's been in like 4 or 5 of them, which just love her. When she popped up in Station 19, I was so surprised. I was, because it's a recurring role too. She like has a baby and stuff. It's very surprising. And also, she famously has 2 children with her partner Macaulay Culkin, and they're very cute and adorable. And he thanked her and cried when he got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame recently.
Oh, that's cute. And then we have, last but not least, of our main cast, Phil Lewis, who played Mr. Mosby. He also played Maurice in Dadnapped. He was on Scrubs, The Sweet Life on Deck, of course, American Dad, plus some other voice work and guest star roles. But mainly what he's gone on to do is direct. Like, he hasn't really taken a lot of acting roles, and he mostly just directs now. And so he's worked on Austin and Ally, Kickin' It, Good Luck Charlie, Two Broke Girls, Jessie, Young and Hungry, The Odd Couple, Bunked, How I Met Your Father, iCarly. So still keeping it really in a lot of it is more children's shows, but yeah, still directing.
All sitcoms too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised he went on to direct, because when he played Mr. Mosby as a lead for all of both Sweet Life series. So at that point, you've got your money and you've got a lot of fame as one thing, and you have a lot of knowledge in that genre.
Well, and on Sweet Life, they gave him the opportunity to guest direct and then fully direct a few episodes. So it's like he also then had that on his resume, leaving those roles.
Yeah, I knew he'd done some directing already there. And also, you'd probably have more issues getting cast than getting director gigs at that point, because you're so famous as Mr. Mosby.
Yeah. Yeah, because people see you as one character.
So those are all of our main characters. We're not getting into all of the side characters, but needless to say, we have shouted out. There are tons of famous guest stars and quite a lot of famous recurring roles as well, of people who went on to have their own Disney shows or other projects.
We're going to go into like the impact of the show on Disney Channel and media of the time. We've kind of already mentioned this, but it's the only show we can think of that got a spinoff, but the spinoff is also the same leads with The Sweet Life on Deck, because that's still Zack and Cody. Like, you know, it's just in a new location. And then after that, they got the Sweet Life movie, which is the first show to get a DCOM since Lizzie.
I didn't realize that. I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah, that makes sense. I also think, and someone can fact check me on this, because I don't know Raven's level of involvement in That's So Raven. I know she's a producer on Raven's Home, but I don't think she was on That's So Raven. And we'll get into more of it when we go into On Deck, but like after the first series, I know the Sprouse twins were more heavily involved in the production side of On Deck and the movie, and like pitching stories, which was an interesting like track for the Disney star that, as I was trying to say, I don't think we've really seen up until this point in Disney Channel history, that was replicated later, because Zendaya did a lot of that with Casey Undercover after having been on Shake It Up, and you know, there are other stars, I'm sure.
The other thing that I think this show had, which maybe other shows that we've watched previously had, and this just the impact feels larger because of the time this show aired and how old we were at that time. But the memeability, like Prindle, the restaurant reservation, I feel like the memeability of this show is it's just stronger than other ones.
I think that has something to do with how this series stands out to the late millennials and early Gen Zers.
Mm-hmm.
There were more people watching Disney Channel at this time than the previous series. Also, I think there is something about it being the boy show that makes it stand out in our heads a little bit more. And the characters are so vibrant.
Yeah.
Distinct. They have very strong personalities.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's what made it, like, at least for me, the episodes go by so quickly to watch, even in rewatching it, that I'm like, okay, as a kid, I get why, you know, they would have marathons where it was just hours and hours of Sweet Life. And I remember putting it on and not being bored with it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so, every episode is its own entity, but you're right, they're so, like, the characters are so strong and they all have strong personalities, and their personalities are very present in every single episode.
Yeah, these aren't really that. I mean, some of them, yes, but most of them are like characters you wouldn't meet in real life because they're so outlandish. And I think that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, totally. We're going to get into, speaking of outlandish, the Sweet Life Crimes Against Hospitality.
If you don't know, Jessica has a background in hospitality and event management, and this show had many things happening that she did not enjoy.
Yeah, not even that I didn't enjoy it, but like, this shit would not happen and these people would lose their jobs. Like, what is going on here? Also, for background, I worked in luxury hotels too. So Tipton is a luxury hotel. That is where I worked in that environment for many, many, many years. So I'm very familiar with the operations and the type of people that work in those hotels. And this show does not get it right all the time. Some of these we have discussed at length, so I'll briefly mention them in our other episodes. But in Rockstar in the House, when London, Maddie, and Zack all sneak into Jesse McCartney's room and like get in bed with him and take photos with him, they would be fired. Like,
yeah, and maybe arrested.
Yes, like, you can't do that.
Yeah. That is very creepy.
Also, this hotel is just giving shit away. I don't know how it's making money, but like, Carrie gets her room for free as part of her contract. London's giant ass room is taking up space of probably 17 hotel rooms that they could be selling.
Including her like 3-story closet with escalators.
Yeah, which I'm still am slightly convinced that is also the Hannah Montana closet.
I don't think so, but
you think
we'll find out.
And then we have like Suite 613 episode where we learned that suite they weren't selling because it was haunted. And I'm like, we are just letting the inventory sit empty.
That's the one that got me the most. That's the one that got me the most because, okay, fine. Carrie's an employee that got it in her contract and London's dad owns the hotel. But you're telling me you're letting a suite sit empty?
Yeah. Also, on them giving shit away, Mr. Mosby offers free shit all the time when guests hurt themselves or are upset. We saw this in the episode, like the prankster episode, where Maddie dresses up as Olga.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the daddy-daughter duo that are like faking injuries to get things for free.
Mm-hmm.
Loss prevention rule number 1 is you never admit fault. Because if a guest falls and then you offer compensation, that is admitting fault. You're like, oh, we did something wrong here. And it's like, no, you do not do that.
Yeah, because then in a court, if they choose to sue anyway, that could be argued that that's your admission of fault.
Yeah, if you offer compensation, it's considered admission of fault, and so you would lose in case of court. So that's why you never, ever offer compensation in those scenarios. And Mosby's doing it all the time. I'll upgrade you to a suite. What can I get you? Oh, I can make that free. Oh, I can add on this for free. I'm like, well, and he's supposed to be the hotel manager.
It does feel very customer service what you expect. Because you expect that when you complain, you get something better or for free.
Yes, so I would agree with that in the sense that, like, if there's one episode, and I don't remember what Mosby offers, but where a guest complains that they scheduled a wake-up call at 7 and that they were called at 7:03 and he offers something. Sure, like, that was the hotel's fault. You scheduled it for 7. Your wake-up call happened at 7:03. It's ridiculous, but this is shit that guests complain about.
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm like, yeah, but in case of like injury or things like that, which is where we see Mosby do it a lot. Another thing we see him do is Daryl in the wheelchair basketball episode. He's like, oh, you can pay for whatever you want. Oh, I'll give you the room for free. Like, you can pay whatever price you want and I'll give you the room for free. And I'm like, there are set rates that the rooms go at. Like,
and that was part of the ableism, but
yes,
still stupid.
Yeah, like I get they were trying to make a point, but it's also like this would never happen in a hotel.
Yeah, there are other ways he could have been ableist.
Zack, in one episode, we don't even see it. We just hear that this happens, that damage was caused in another hotel room because he got the key to that hotel room and was using it because it had the best restroom. And my questions are like, how did he know all the rooms would have the same bathroom? But even if they didn't, like, you're telling me he's just going around checking every single room and then creating a key and using a different room to pee?
We also forgot to include this on your list. Zack canonically has a universal room key.
It's just like, that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
He swiped one from the desk, and every time that, like, Carrie or Mosby takes it from him, he just makes a new one when, I guess, the desk is unmanned or something. At one point, Mosby needs a universal key to get into a room, and Carrie's like, let's use Zack's. And he's like, oh, Mother of the Year. And she's like, hey, I took it from him.
Yeah. I just need to clarify. I'm trying not to get new nitty gritty. That's not how it works. Any hotel, any employee can't just create a universal key. Even Mr. Mosby would not have the privileges to create a universal key.
Yeah, because isn't it a privacy issue?
Yeah, it has to be done through security. You have to check it out. Like, they physically, like, you sign your name, they hand it to you, and then at the end of the day, you return it. And if you accidentally drive home with it, you get a very angry call, and you have to drive back to the hotel and return it. Like, it's not this just, like, casual thing. Like, it's a big deal.
Also, I want to be clear for anyone listening, we are not saying that these things should not have been dealt with this way in the show. We understand this show is fiction, and most of these things happening were for the silly hee-hee ha-has. But we're talking about, would this be real? No. Okay?
Yeah. I'm talking about, yes. And for me, living and breathing that environment for as long as I did, it is just so ridiculous, some of the things that they let these characters get away with. And I get it's a fictional kids TV show. It's still wild. Speaking of wild, when Zack and Cody, and we went into this, but when they spy on the girls' soccer team and they drill holes into the wall, there would be fines. Carrie would be fired. There would be criminal charges and a lawsuit. Like, it would just not be like, let's do, ha ha ha, we're peeking in on girls. Like, no.
The damage, they did physical damage, which they've done physical damage in a lot of episodes.
Yeah. Physical damage to the room, and you're breaking, like, the guest privacy agreement of when you are paying for a hotel room, that is a place of privacy. Like, you should be able to trust that. You're not being filmed, you're not being spied on, you're not being looked at.
I'm pretty sure it's also just illegal.
Yes, well, yes. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's because there is an agreement that if you are paying for this, you are getting privacy as part of it. There is an episode where Mr. Mosby shoots spitballs at the guests. Excuse me? Imagine paying $500 a night for a room, and you walk into the lobby and you get a spitball shot at you from the manager of the hotel.
He does it by accident, right? Like he's trying to shoot the boys and hits a customer instead?
I think so, but it's still bad.
Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to, like, find why Mosby would do it in my brain, because I know he wouldn't realistically do that unless it's like one of those weird episodes, like if he was turned into a little kid.
I think it might be the episode where he was like trying to have fun.
Is there an episode where he tries to have fun?
I think so. It was like one of those kind of episodes where he was acting out of character on purpose, but I was like, this is crazy. We can't be shooting spitballs at guests.
Along those notes, so I did add a few other things because you didn't have them on your list either because you didn't see it or whatever. But along those lines, there's an episode where both Mosby and Zack are obsessed with a video game, and he's literally playing it at the front desk and like ignoring customers sometimes, and it just feels very out of character and outlandish to see this hotel manager like with his sword playing a video game on a laptop at the front desk.
Yeah. When Mosby did that, was this in an episode where Mosby is acting unlike himself?
No, it's just canon that both he and Zack are obsessed with this video game. It's giving like World of Warcraft vibes. It's an online game that they can play together. And like they play together and then realize that that's the person they've been playing with and they're both addicted to this game. But it's not like a silly, goofy, out of the world episode.
Yeah, and he's ignoring guests. This is just wild. I'm like, all these people would not have jobs. They would be fired. All of them.
Well, I also made the note of like, how do these people have time to do their jobs and also do all of the random shit they do for London? Like, that's crazy. How do they have time, especially like the part-time employees? But at least London's family owns the hotel. I do have this note that you have thoughts about because you have personal experience with this. I forgot in our shout outs in the last episode. Late in season 3, there's an episode with a completely unimportant plot and just like very randomly, casually, Tony Hawk has a guest appearance at the first and final scenes of the episode. He's not in any other part of the plot. And in it, when they're like, "You're Tony Hawk," he's like, "That's the name on the reservation," which would not be the case, actually.
It's not how it works. I would say probably some influencers, but once you reach a level of people recognizing you, you stay under an alias. You don't stay under your name. Like, Tony Hawk does not stay under his name. There are probably people who are famous that use Tony Hawk as an alias. That I could believe. A lot of wrestler names are used as an alias. The amount of professional sports players that use Randy Savage as an alias, who is a wrestler, is like so many. I mean, like every team has a Randy Savage. So Tony Hawk, there are probably people who use that as an alias. My personal favorite alias I ever saw was Mr. Uber Everywhere, because that's not a name, but it is funny. But that's the thing. They're not staying under names. Like, they're staying under things like Uber Everywhere.
And Tony Hawk in 2007 especially would not be staying under the name Tony Hawk. Not when they're making video games of him.
Yeah, and that was still like Warp Tour scene with all the skateboarding and the X Games and all of that was like in its prime.
Yeah, when I saw him on the screen, I was like, wow, this is giving me flashbacks.
Yeah, crazy.
Also, just, they're in the vents all the time. Why are the vents always unlocked? Why are the vents so big? Why can they hold up people? I've gone on this rant before, but I had to point it out in this. Another thing that might freak you out, Jess. In one episode, the boys have messed something up for Mosby, so like a convention gets canceled or something, and Mosby's busy with staff issues, so they managed to go to the rival hotel, the St. Mark's, and do something that convinces the insect convention that's happening there, like they're just checking in for the weekend, to move to the Tipton and book them in, all without Mosby ever even knowing.
This is like when I told you hotels had sales departments and you just like did not process that would be a thing. Like, this would involve sales. This would involve the rooms controller. This would involve the front desk manager, the operations director, plus Mosby, plus an event manager. Like, it would involve so many people. Like, Zack and Cody would they wouldn't even have the knowledge to be able to like get all those reservations into the system.
I'm pretty sure they just like go behind the desk and press some buttons on the computer or something.
Like, this is the problem. That's how people think it works. And then people try to go to a hotel and book something and they're like, why didn't it work like it did in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody? Like, that's not how it works. There's contracts. There's people you have to talk to. Room reservation lists you have to submit. Like, this is just wild.
And a whole ass convention. Esteban has a pet chicken that sometimes lives in his locker. It's only noted. I vividly remember Esteban having a pet chicken in The Sweet Life, but then when I was watching it, it was really only mentioned in like 2 episodes. So surprised by that. Yeah, so that it didn't really end up in our rewatch, but it did live in the locker because at one point I think Patrick was mad at Esteban because his chicken was like eating his ties or something. There's like a B or C plot in one of the episodes.
Yeah.
Which, like, obviously that would not be real.
No.
And then my last thing is just the last episode. The whole thing is that Mr. Tipton, if he's in a good mood, gives one employee a $50,000 bonus. The 99% of the employees at this hotel aren't making $50,000 a year.
No.
And it seems like everyone's eligible because it's just like whoever he feels like giving it to. So like Maddie's trying to get it. And I'm like, you're a part-timer.
That runs the candy counter.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah.
like no one's giving out $50,000 to these employees that aren't even getting paid $50,000 a year. And then she's not even making half that. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Those are all the thoughts that I had about that, and you had as well, correct?
Yep.
Again, we understand these are all in the name of silly, goofy, hee-hee-ha-has for the tweenagers. We just wanted to point them out that they are, as adults watching them, objectively ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so outlandish and just wild. It does make for some fun plots, but not how a hotel works. Everyone would be fired.
All the time. Everyone would be fired all the time for this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically every episode someone's getting fired. Okay, we're going to move on to our quiz. It's my turn to do the quiz. So I did a few like quotes and then a few multiple choice.
Okay, I'm not ready because I feel like I've already emotionally blocked out the majority of this show. But I'm going to try. Let me have a sip of water.
Okay. I feel like it's not hard, but I also I don't know.
I never feel like mine are that hard, and then you're like, I have no idea. Okay, I know we have like a New Year's resolution of no food on the podcast, but I've been having grapes because I was a little lightheaded, and I've had my water, so I've got some sugar. Okay, I think I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay.
I think so.
We'll start with quotes. Who said that quote?
Although you added a syllable. Sorry, that was just so good. Quotes.
Quotes.
There's a W there.
There is. Did
Pop
you
quiz
know?
Quotes.
Season
quotes. Sorry.
Season 1, episode 1. Sometimes Chicken Little knows what he's talking about.
Sometimes Chicken Little knows what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's either Zack or Cody.
Is it?
It is, right? Is it one of those two?
It's not.
Oh my god, what happened in our pilot episode? What? They move into it's the one where they have all of the people over to the Tipton. Max is there, and then is it Tapeworm that says it?
It's not, but that's a good guess, and you really are. You're connecting the plot points on why is someone referencing Chicken Little.
Okay, it's not Zack and Cody. It's not Tapeworm. Sometimes Chicken Little knows what he's talking about. So it's reference to like the sky is falling. And
what falls out of the sky?
What falls out of the sky?
Mm-hmm.
Carrie falls out of the sky, right?
No, they're all pulling on the big giant satellite dish.
Oh.
And it goes crashing down, and who sees it?
Mosby?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. See, that felt more like a line that Zack would say to Mosby as like comedy.
I agree. That's why I added it there, because it does feel like a line the boys would say and not a line that Mr. Mosby would say.
Yeah, it felt like either a bad thing happened and Zack was making a joke about it, or a bad thing happened and Cody was like, see, I told you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 2. This is season 2, episode 32.
Okay, whoa. Okay, so we're at the end.
Yeah, I should have included the titles of these episodes.
No, it's fine. This is good. This is good.
That's why you should never keep a snapping turtle in your back pocket.
Oh, I do recall. That's why you should never keep a snapping turtle in your back pocket. Is that Jaden Smith?
I think it is that episode. Or was that season 3? No, it's not Jaden Smith. It's one of our main characters.
Is he season 3?
He
might
think
be.
so.
I
Yeah.
think he is.
Because
You're right.
Barbara and Cody are dating, and that happens in season 3.
Oh, okay, but it is a main character, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Not a recurring character?
Not a recurring character. All the
Cody?
quotes are main characters.
It's Cody?
It's not Cody.
You're so mean.
This is really just coming from the fact that I like that noise that you're making, so I have to repeat it back to you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just enjoying it.
That's okay. I'm just teasing you because teasing people is my love language. I'm not actually offended. That's why you should never keep a snapping turtle in your back pocket. And it's season 2, episode 32.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we in season 2? I mean, we're all over the place, but not nearly as all over the place as season 3. And it's not Cody, but it is a main character. Like, this is a character that's in the intro to the show.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you should never keep a snapping turtle in your back pocket.
Who?
Is it like Zack?
Yeah. Yes.
Because I heard you laughing. I'm like, it's gotta be Zack because she's laughing at how I'm so close with Cody.
But also, it's like, who would put a snapping turtle in their back pocket and learn from that and now have that as a story to tell? It wouldn't be Cody. Cody's not that dumb.
I think it would be because Cody would be like trying to save the turtle from like the park demolition or something.
He would. Yeah, true.
Yeah. But Zack would be stealing the turtle as a prank for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. I don't know my boys. Well, actually, no. I think maybe what's happening is I'm overthinking because I know my boys too well.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3. Season 2, episode 35.
Okay. End of the end. Oh, this is Hollywood part 1. Okay.
Oh no, I'm not putting on a bikini.
That's it?
Yep.
Oh no, I'm not putting on a bikini?
Yep.
And this is Hollywood part 1.
I don't think it is, actually.
There's 36 episodes in season 2, and it ends with
back in the game.
Season 2? Back in the game?
Yeah, it's the wheelchair basketball episode.
Oh, there's 39 episodes. God damn it. God. Okay. So it's back in the game. That completely reshapes everything. I was like, this must be like when they're talking about going to the beach. Okay. So it's the Nathan Kress episode.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting on a bikini. Mm-hmm. Barbara?
Good guess.
It's not Barbara? That is totally a line Barbara would say. Okay, I don't even think Barbara's in that episode. It just feels like it would be a Barbara line.
I agree.
Okay. So we're playing basket. Is it A plot or B plot?
I think it's
A plot would be Nathan Kress and the basketball.
Yeah. And is B plot that crazy Carrie plot?
No, that's the sleepover episode.
Oh, okay. I think it's more A plot.
Okay. I'm not putting on a bikini. Oh, it's Daryl because Nathan Kress comes in and he's like, "You're not Jessica Simpson." Am I wrong?
You're wrong. Can I tell you who it is?
Yes.
It's Cody.
God damn it.
Okay, this next one you'll for sure know, though. And then we're going to move on to multiple choice.
It's fine. It's fine. I have candy in front of me and I don't deserve it because I haven't earned it. I don't know anything, and I told you I blocked this show out. Let's go.
Quotes are hard. Multiple choice you'll get.
I've also seen so many episodes.
Season 3. Yeah, Season 3, Episode 1. Oh. I'm not good to anyone if I'm tense.
Oh my god, these quotes you wrote down are like...
We called this one out in our episode. That's all.
You maybe did. I wouldn't have. I'm not good to anyone if I'm tense. And it's the graduation episode. So, I mean, this sounds like a Cody line.
Mm-hmm. It's not, but it does.
I knew it. Yeah. I'm not good to anyone if I'm tense. Graduation, they graduate, and also it's when Maddie goes to camp. Is it a B plot?
It's a B plot.
Okay. Oh, it's London?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because she's going to go. Yeah. She's going to get a massage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got
Before rescuing Maddie from camp.
Right. If I know anyone, I'm glad it's London Tipton.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're moving on to multiple choice. This is Season 1, Episode 19. Okay. Who imitates Darth Vader? A. Bob. B. Cody, C. Arwen, D. London.
Arwen.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! I have no idea when. I was just thinking, like, who would imitate Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Arwen. I can see him doing it in my head.
Yes. Season 2, episode 8. What did Esteban dress up as when London had trouble potty training her dog? A. A pee pad. B. A fire hydrant. C. A dog trainer.
Oh, a fire hydrant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's easy.
Season 3, episode 12. What vegetable gets Arwen Stein going on a rampage?
Broccoli. I don't even need your options.
Yeah, I love this. Season 2, episode question mark is what I wrote. So
Great. It's fine because I haven't really known what any of these ones are anyway. So
who has 20/20/20/20 vision?
20/20/20. Not, and it's not Raven Baxter.
Not Raven Baxter. A. Mr. Mosby. B. Patrick. C. Carrie. D. Arwen.
20/20/20/20 vision.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be Arwen. Is it Arwen?
It's not Arwen.
Mosby?
Good guess. I feel like this is a line he would say, but it's not him.
Yeah, it's like a line that Arwen would say goofily, or Mosby would say is like, so you better watch out. So we're down to Carrie or someone else that I forgot.
Patrick.
So it's
Patrick?
It's Patrick or it's Carrie?
No, it's Carrie.
Okay. Why? What in what context?
She's telling them the boys are up to something, and she catches them doing something, and they're like, you weren't even looking at us. And she was like, I got 20/20/20/20 vision.
Got it. So it is that context I imagined with Mosby, but it's Carrie instead. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not a failure.
You're doing great. At what age did Cody start cleaning up Zack's side of the room?
Like 6 months, but give me the options.
Okay. A, 2, B, 4, C, 6, D, 8.
2?
Yep. Ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, ding,
It was
ding.
like whatever's the youngest, because they would go with something super young for dramatic effect.
Yeah. And then last but not least, how many weddings has Mr. Tipton had? A, 8, B, 10, C, 12, D, 14.
I feel like it's 8. Is it not 8? It's either 8 or
8.
it's 12?
Yep, 12.
Okay. I thought it was either 8 or 12. Okay, 12. I mean, good for him. Maybe?
Yeah, at first I wrote the question on how many marriages did he have, and I'm like, well, that's not actually what they said. They said how many weddings he's had. I was like,
Yeah.
Who knows how many of these were formal marriages?
I mean, good for his divorce attorneys.
Sure. I'm like, how does he still have money going through that many divorces? But
Baby cakes, he has oil money. He has
That's-
hotel. He has so much money.
that's true. Going into just like our ranking and overall thoughts to wrap it up. If you haven't listened before, we go through and we rank the show based on overall what we thought, the impact, the star power, the rewatchability. Do we think the show held up? And we rank it all on a scale of 0 to 5. We'll start with impact and then we can wrap up with overall.
Okay.
Okay. So, for impact, I gave it a 5. I feel like it had a huge impact on Disney Channel. Like, as we mentioned, it went on to not only get a decom, but an entire spin-off with the same main characters. I feel like it was really the kickoff of, like, huge success that Disney started to see from their TV shows. That then springs into, like, Wizards and Hannah Montana. So, I think it had a really big impact.
I give it a 4.5. I agree. I think it had a really big impact. I don't want to give it a 5 because we gave Raven a 5 and Raven feels like even above and beyond this. And Lizzie, we gave a 4.5 and that feels comparable because it's such an iconic show and it had its own movie that was a theatrical release, not just a decom. So to me, it's like it did a lot for the channel, but it's not Hannah Montana and it's not Wizards and it's not Raven.
Fair.
So for me, it's a 4.5.
For star power, we both gave it the same.
Mm-hmm.
We both gave it a 4.5. I mean, you got Brenda Song, you got Ashley Tisdale, you got the Sprouse twins, and then all the side characters they brought in. You can't argue the star power of the show.
No. If anything, we should have given it a 5, but we didn't.
Yeah.
And we could have, because like we said, so many of these people still have careers, or at least the twins and Brenda Song do. But it just doesn't feel 5 worthy. And honestly, we haven't given anything a 5 yet.
Yeah. That's mostly why I didn't do it, because I'm like, I don't know what 5 is.
I think I know what a 5 is, and I think it's coming, but it hasn't happened yet.
Fair.
I think
fair.
I think Hannah's going to be a 5.
Yeah.
And that era of the stars. But anyway.
Up next, we have rewatchability. I gave it a 3.5. Also, to put in perspective, y'all, I don't watch all the episodes. I only watch the ones Amanda assigns to me. The reason I gave it a 3.5 is because the episodes went so fast, the fastest of any show we've watched so far. I really enjoyed it, but there were some episodes that were really painful to watch, and there were points where I found myself not even paying attention because it's just like so dumb and pointless. So that's why I kind of gave it that 3.5.
I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah.
I'm really biased at the end of this, I will admit, but I obviously had those episodes that made me really angry, and I think those stand out a lot. I think the first season and parts of the second season are solid, but season 3 just goes off the rails, and like in a way that we start like 4 different shows and don't finish any of them.
Yeah.
And like you said, that you stop paying attention sometimes. Like there were definitely episodes where I was just like bored. So, and a lot of the humor doesn't hold up, even when the plots aren't problematic. A lot of the humor towards Carrie and just jokes about weight or women aren't my favorite, aren't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So,
or towards Esteban. Yeah. There is a lot of humor there that.
oh yeah, Esteban's entire characterization, I did not realize as a child, is just super racist.
Yep.
So I gave it a 2.5.
Yeah. And then getting into that, we have Does It Hold Up? And we both gave it the same for this. We both gave it a 2. You know, some of the episodes that stick out in your brain, you're like, that was, you know, like the Suite of 613 and things like that. They're really fun. They're great. But some of the stuff you don't realize the show tried to cover, they do it really bad. Like, not even kind of bad, they do it just plain bad. You know, I talked about it in our The Sweet Life Takes on Civil Rights, but they didn't bring in a ton of writers into the writer room, and I think that is what hurt them in the long run. And so a lot of this stuff does not hold up. It honestly, we probably could have given it a 1. I think we were being generous with a 2.
And I think in addition to the writers being so limited and some of those plot lines not doing well, it also impacted the overall humor and tone of the show throughout all the episodes. The majority of season 3, their jokes or storylines are related to the boys trying to date girls. There's not a lot of like interesting things going on with them, and the characters being so over the top. Like Maddie, I'm a girl's girl. I'm a girl's girl. I love women and I love women's wrongs and I support them all the time. I can't support Maddie. She's the least likable character I think I've seen on a show yet, because I think that they just fit these characters into such harsh little characterizations that they became problematic instead of being fleshed out at all.
Yep. I do think that it's all just connected to, like, a lot of it's connected to the writing.
Oh, yeah. It's all the writing. It's all the writing, for sure. Yeah. And there are things that are great about it. I love me some London Tipton.
Yeah.
But it just overall was not great. And so our overall score, which when I did this, I was like, I don't really know why I put overall and an average, but it's fine. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. So the overall score, I give it a 3.5. I feel like it was a solid rewatch. I really enjoyed it. The episodes I loved. But there were some really big misses, and so I felt like it was a solid 3.5.
I gave it a 3 because I did enjoy a good chunk of it, which brings us to our overall averages.
Yeah. So I average out to 3.7 out of 5.
I averaged to a 3.3, which is our lowest rating as of yet. And our combined average is a 3.5, making this our lowest in the list.
Yeah. Which I would agree.
Yeah. For like your ratings, this ties with Phil and even Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this is the lowest.
Mm-hmm.
And in our overall ranking so far, it'd be Sweet Life on the bottom, and then Phil of the Future, even Stevens, and then Lizzie McGuire, and then That's So Raven is first.
Yep.
Which feels right.
Mm-hmm.
I tried really hard when I was doing these ratings. I was like, I know I'm going to be too harsh, but I don't think it should place better than Phil. But I also shouldn't drag down the ratings just because I want it to place lower than Phil.
Yeah. Well, that's when I was doing it. I was like, okay, throughout the rewatch, I felt similar to how I did about, I think where Phil lacked was different than where Sweet Life lacked.
Yeah. I think Phil was silly, goofy, funny, haha in a charming way.
Yeah.
And it was other things that it lacked.
Yeah. Where this was like silly, funny, goofy, haha, but sometimes in like a mean, unproductive, probably wouldn't be on TV today.
Although I'm sure the show is on TV today.
Well, yeah.
But there we go. That's our rankings. I feel good about this.
Yeah, me too. Do you have any other like thoughts? Any other last things you want to get out?
I kind of want to say sorry if I've been too much of a Debbie Downer for the listeners about this show. It has been enjoyable to rewatch, and I know that this is a treasured show for a lot of people, and I'm not discouraging a rewatch if you want to. I'm just saying that I'm looking at this as more of a pop culture critic type of standpoint, critique. And so I want to be honest, and this was my experience. But you're welcome to love what you love.
Yeah.
Anything
agreed.
you want to add?
No. I'm ready to move on from it.
Same.
Yeah.
And on that note, our next 90s Babies Nostalgia classic show will be Life with Derek. Wow, how did I mess that up?
I think the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and then Life with Derek got like in your brain.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so upset because I felt like I did such a good transition.
You did.
Next, we're covering Life with Derek. Okay, guys? We're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because this is going to be our first series that I remember vividly. Jess knows some of the rumors, but she's never actually seen it.
Yeah. Like maybe I saw it when I was on, but I don't remember actively ever watching it.
I was a little bit obsessed because we're getting into the era where I was also on the internet every day after school because we were in middle school. So I was definitely curious.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun one. Before we get into Life with Derek, though, we are bringing you a remix episode. We're trying something different. We're doing a release that's actually in theaters. So we will be talking about Challengers. Amanda just saw it. I'm going to watch it this week. I'm very excited to discuss. And with that, please rate and review us wherever you watch your podcast. It really, really helps us, as well as follow us on all of our social media. We are 90s Babies Nostalgia on Instagram and YouTube. Spell out the word 90s. We are also on TikTok, but use the numbers there. And just like comment, DM us. We see this every time, but like it is so fun chatting with you all. So please engage with us. We really enjoy it. Like, we have this podcast because we love talking about this stuff. So any excuse to continue talking about it, we will take. And with that, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.